It's the Open Championship. Me and Nick are going to Royal Portrush. Not actually physically, but we're going there mentally to research the Open Championship. Welcome, everyone, to Tea Time. I'm your host, Andy Lang, being joined, as always, by my fellow golf betting expert, Nick Borrman. We're going to break down the Open Championship. We're going to go over a long shot. We're going to go over an outright winner. We're going to go over players that can trip you up, one and dones, DraftKings darlings, and at the end, we're going to go through some head-to-head matchups that have been posted at the time of recording this, as well as maybe some top 10s, top 20s, try and get you guys ready to profit off of this tournament. But, Nick, let's start off with the one and dones. We both picked Robert McIntyre last week, and then I flip-flopped and changed to Matthew Fitzpatrick, which never works. And then it finally did work. It did work. So one and done. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Not a whole lot of guys to pick from. I will go first. I'm going with Jon Rahm. Been very impressed with him. I think he settled into his live lifestyle, if you will. I still think he regrets making the move over, but you can't argue with the success that he's had over on Live Tour. And the fact is that he's been very, very good at the Open Championship. It wasn't good in 2019 at this course, but 7th and 2nd the last 2 years at Open Championships, coming off a runner-up at Live. So I expect him to be calm. I expect him to be in a good mood. I expect him to be dialed in, and I think the weather is going to be good where tee times don't necessarily matter too much. So I'm going to go with Jon Rahm. Not really predicting him to win. I don't think he's there yet, but I expect the top 20 finish from him, upside of the top 10. So Jon Rahm is my one and done. Who are you going with?
For the record, for the viewers, we like to try to give out two different ones. Now, typical one and done, we might be on the same guy because I love Jon Rahm also this week, and I probably would be taking him. But for the sake of the show, I'm going to give out somebody different. Matt Fitzpatrick, who was the right play last week and hopefully doesn't miss the cut on me this week. But yeah, resurgence for Matt over the last month, 6 weeks or so. He's playing great, very consistent tee to green again, like we saw back when he won the U.S. Open. And he does very well over in the Links style golf. So he's a pretty simple play as far as form goes, but I love Fitzpatrick, what he's doing right now. I think he'll be in contention. So hopefully he can go back-to-back here with another solid week.
Yeah, love the play. This is the form of a guy who can win this thing.
Yeah.
He's got success at majors. All of a sudden, rounding into form, couple top 10s, played great last week. So I agree with that pick. I'm jealous that I don't have my Matthew Fitzpatrick for this week. So
back to back in the one and done.
Yeah, a mulligan in the one and done. So
yeah.
Let's talk Royal Portrush here. Go over the course here. Par 71. We'll call it 7,380 yards. Rugged dunes, steep elevation changes, beautiful coastal views. This is Harry Colt's. It's a masterpiece. It really, really is cool. I really want to go to the weather first. The weather looks to be pretty good this week.
Yep.
Warm, doesn't look like a lot of wind, and very little rain in the forecast. If anything's coming through, just a little bit of drizzle. And Nick, I think that's kind of the big story going into this, because if there's no harsh conditions, I think this course is gettable. You have to be accurate off the tee. There's really, really treacherous fairway bunkers. Of course, some of the bunkers around the greens are really deep. There's out of bounds that are really close to the fairways. But without wind, without rain, what do we always say? Justin Thomas says, if you give us receptive greens, we're going to be able to tear it up. So I love, Calamity Corner as an iconic hole as well. But I watched the hole by hole on YouTube twice last night, and I'm like, accurate shots off the tee gives you a green light at these greens and at these pins. I'm going with potential double digit for the winner. If the weather kicks up and we get craziness coming in, it could change it. But as beautiful and as hard as some of these holes are, accurate tee shots are going to get you there. You got to stay out of these bunkers. A lot of these bunkers, you may have to come out sideways on the fairway or, around the green. But without the weather, I think these guys are going to have a pretty good go of it. I expect a very competitive tournament. I think it's going to be a little bit more low scoring than people think. What is your take on Royal Portrush?
Yeah, I mean, as far as the weather goes, the wind certainly seems to be not too crazy. It does pick up a little bit on the weekend, according to the weather channels, what I'm seeing now, 10 to 20, Saturday, Sunday. And there is rain better than 50% Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But that, when I looked yesterday, it was better than 50% every day. Now Thursday looks like it's pretty much not going to happen. So the one thing we know about this weather is that it's going to change rapidly and quickly, and you might as well not even look this far ahead. But I do think we'll get a little bit of rain somewhere throughout the week. But from what I've understood, a couple of reports I read is obviously Andy and I don't live in the area, but it's been a particularly dry lead up to this tournament. And I'm not talking like a week. I'm talking a couple of months here. So the players are talking about it playing a little firmer and faster, even if it is raining. So that'll be interesting. And that always comes into play at links courses on the fairways. You hit a good fairway and it runs and runs. And because, the fairways are like this and they funnel to those bunkers, that's where people are going to get in trouble. So it'll be a little bit of thinking, off your tee. It's not just grip it and rip it. But yeah, I mean, if the weather isn't there, honestly, I think it could be scoring very similar to what we saw last week, because I think the weather could be kind of a mirror image, except again for maybe the rain. It doesn't seem like wind's going to be there. Temps are kind of seasonal, mid-60s, whatever. I always just like watching it. And it's like, it always seems so gloomy, no matter what. Even on a nice day, it's gloomy on TV when you're watching the Open Championship.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're going to see a lot of 3-woods off of the tee with some of these guys. Like you said, if it's dry and there's a lot of roll, maybe a lot of roll is not what these guys want. And Nick, if we do get some drizzle, we do get a little bit of rain, it's just perfect for those guys. Slows down the uncontrollable roll. So I think this sets up for a really, really good conditions for these guys.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of interesting notes I have from, the event in general. I mean, last time we played here was 2019. Lowry won by 6. I didn't even realize he won by that many. But the recipe for him that week, probably the same recipe you're going to need this week. He was 22nd in the field, fairways hit. So not the best, but you can't miss a lot of fairways and expect to do well. But he only missed 15 greens over the 4 rounds, which led the field. So the guy simply just got the ball on the green. And then he ranked 3rd in strokes gained around the green. So when he did miss, he was getting up and down everywhere. So obviously a very good recipe there. 9 out of the top 10 players in 2019, Andy, are in the field this week. There's a total of 52 players. So there is, it was close enough to this year that there's a lot of, people that played in that event you can look back to and see how they did. 80 people in the field played last week at the Scottish. I do believe that's a true advantage with just getting used to the links course and the fescue greens and obviously the time difference. The fescue greens is kind of interesting too, because unless you play over here regularly, it is different than you see in the States. And I don't know if you saw that when Rory, his comment, I think he said something like these greens suck as he was missing a couple putts. But it is true, like the fescue greens are a little bit different. And if you're not, used to it, or maybe even just having that 1 week additional play last week, I think it is an advantage there. But those are some of my notes. I mean, there's elevation change here, which is unusual in the area, but it's a pretty good amount of elevation change. And then of course you just have to avoid the cabbage, as I like to call it. And it'll be interesting to see what they call it this week. There's hummocks, there's hollows, there's gorse. I mean, they call this crap all sorts of different names. So, but it is dangerous out there if you are missing. Those are just unplayables. Drop the ball now. Hopefully, avoid a double bogey. So, I think the course is going to play well. I don't know how the weather will be, but I think it is gettable, like you said, Andy. If it's not, there's 5 par 3s and 3 par 5s, par 71, and the last par 5 is on hole 12. So the last 6 holes of this tournament are going to be tough if you're trailing to try. You're going to have to be forcing birdies on par 4s or par 3s. So it's going to be tough to come back from. So that'll be interesting to watch too as the tournament unfolds and that back on Sunday.
Well, by far the weirdest player in the top 10 from 2019 that nobody would guess is Lee Westwood.
Oh, nice. I guess he can't play this.
So yeah, Lee Westwood finishing 4th was that was the one that nobody would guess. Ricky Fowler is the other top 10 that would be tough to guess. So let's go over favorite hole and the 18th hole ranking. There's a lot of obvious holes that I think you could make as your favorite, but I'm just going to go with the first hole. I like this one, 416-yard par 4. I love that there's out of bounds on the left and the right sides of the fairway. The tee shot can be treacherous and massive trouble on the left side of the green with really deep bunker, really deep rough. It's a short hole, but this could really set the tone, good or bad, for your round. And I know you could say that about every first hole, but this one you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. And taking a double bogey on the first hole is just going to be a disaster, and somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to hit the ball out of bounds on the first hole and make a mess of it. So I like the first hole. Keep your eye on that one. And then we'll go to the 18th hole ranking. I have this as a 6.2. It's a pretty good finishing hole. I was surprised by this. Third hardest hole in 2019, because on the surface it doesn't look that difficult. But their drive has out of bounds really close to the left side. Dangerous rough on the right, and it gets super, super narrow in the landing area. So you might be looking at iron or 3-wood off the tee. I think you're going to see a lot of 3-woods off of this one. Green doesn't look too difficult, but there's runoff areas for some pretty testy chips for up and downs. Again, doesn't look too difficult, but pretty interesting. That was third most difficult in 2019. So it can play hard. There could be some drama if we got a lot of guys up by the lead on this one. So pretty good finishing hole at 6.2. Let's go to our chart, Nick. Let's take a look at total strokes gained. Let's see what we can take away from this. We look at the 3 months, 12 months, and 6 months here. Of course, it's littered with all of the big names. What's our takeaway from the chart this week?
Yeah, of course, all the big names you'd expect here. I always start off to say how important this is as far as signatures and majors and playoffs go, these big events. 67% of the time since the start of 2023, so almost 3 full seasons now, the winner has been in this top 10 over the last 12 months. Now, I will add, and I've said this the last few weeks, that, on other type of events, if it's not the top 10, the guys aren't far behind. They might be in the top 20 where that winner actually comes. So even if it's not here, you're not going really deep down on the list. And I think before last week, it was 24 of 27 events on tour this year. The winner had ranked in the top 25, either in the 12, 6, or 3-month window. Gotterup's a really good example last week. If you look at his strokes gained number heading into last week, he ranked 70th, 7-0 in the field in strokes gained over the last 12 months. But in the last 3 months, he was 19th. And the books had him as the 14th or 15th, depending on which book you're looking at, odds favorite. So they're not dumb. They know the form he was in. They know how well he was playing. But that just proves the point. Maybe you're not there in the 12 months, but you got to look in these other windows too, the 6 and 3 months. I just organize it by the 12 months because it's been a long-term proven winner. But short-term, these ones are good too. Anyway, list is here is who you'd expect. Scottie, of course, will always continue to lead the way. At this point, it's going to take like him playing poorly for an entire year not to be him for him to be on top of this list. Jon Rahm, excellent major season so far this year, well deserving of that spot there. Rory, flashes of his return to form last week. Got to give Gotterup all the props in the world for dueling it out and being in the final group with them and winning that last week. But that should give Rory more confidence coming back here, of course, where he shoot a 61, 2 or something like that here. So he's got that. And then, I don't know how I feel about DeChambeau at the Open Championship. Andy, I'd like to get your take on him. Obviously, all the other majors, he's right there, but I don't know that he's had like a really good showing on these links type of courses. It's never really been somewhere you can overpower, even though you think at times you should be able to, but as soon as you miss into this crap and you're taking penalties, it's just not worth it. Henley, he's straight and narrow. He should be a guy that should avoid the trouble, and that's usually the recipe at the Open Championship. It's not the guy that's just making birdie after birdie. It's a guy that's just slowly avoiding the doubles over 72 holes. Fleetwood, come on. If there's ever a week, could it be this week for Tommy? And then Colin is, I think, a major avoid for a lot of people right now with everything going on with him. The rest of the list here, a couple guys on the Live Tour, Hatton, Neiman, I put down there in the notables because he's been playing very, very well. Straka playing well, had another good week last week. And, of course, Shane Lowry I put on here because he's the 6-year removed defending champion of Royal Portrush. But as you can see, his form is declining. You can see the numbers dropping here in the 3-month window compared to the 12-month window. So not in great form right now. Probably not worth a 35-1 bet on a guy that's trending the wrong way when you can get guys like Straka at 50-1, even Neiman at 55-1 as comparable. So that's my take on the top 10 this week.
Leave this chart up for just a second real quick, Dan. So there's one guy on this list who finished top 5 at the last year's Open Championship and has finished top 10 in his last 3 tournaments. Do you know who it is? So who finished top 5 at the Open Championship last year and who finished top 10 in the last 3 tournaments this year? So played great at this event last year, in great form. Do you know? Do you know who it is? It's just always the most underrated guy on this list.
I'm looking at the list. I'm going top 10. It wasn't Fleetwood. Schauffele's probably pretty close. I don't know if he's been top 10ing every week there, but he obviously won last year. Not Lowry. Straka was top 5 last year. Is it Straka?
It's Russell Henley. He's just always there. He's just always finishing.
Why?
He's just
Why
always playing great. He's 66 to 1. He's behind Joaquin Neiman. He's behind Patrick Cantlay. It's just the guy's just always criminally undervalued, and we should be making a lot more money off of Russell Henley. So Russell Henley. It's always Russell Henley. It's always Russell Henley. So I thought that was interesting. All right, let's go to players that can trip you up. If you're watching this on Tuesday, it is $5 Tuesday over at Wager Talk. All handicappers can put up a play for $5. I have an Open Championship best bet that is up, so take advantage of that. If you're watching this on Tuesday, if you're watching this on Wednesday, the Open Championship packs are up. Nick will have something. I will have something as well. You'll get all plays for that over at wagertalk.com, so take advantage of that, especially if you're watching this on Tuesday. Take advantage of that $5 Tuesday play. You can try Open Championship plays. You can try other sports from other handicappers. Really, really good tool to use, especially when there's not a lot of sports going on this week. Busy week for Nick and I. But for the baseball fans, not a lot going on this week. All right, let's go to players that can trip you up. I'm going to stun people with these first two here, Nick. Okay. I'm going right to the top here. I'm going Scottie Scheffler as a player that can trip you up. He's the betting favorite. He's the betting favorite, which means what top 2?
I was going to ask you what's tripped up? Top 5? What is it? What's the number? Where are we losing?
Well, he's a favorite. He's a big favorite in all of his head-to-head matchups, so he has to beat everybody. He's got to beat Rory, he's got to beat Xander, he's got to beat Rahm. And the fact is, he's just not that great at the Open Championship. He's never finished better than 7th at an Open Championship. I need him to be top 3 to return value at this if you're going to bet on him.
To hit on that real quick, last week he led the field tee to green at the Scottish. So to prove your point about Links, he just couldn't get the ball in the hole. Maybe that was something to say for what Rory was complaining about. That pesky grass, learning it out. Maybe the week will help him. But he's minus 200 for a top 10, so I understand your value on this. It's hard to return.
I can't roll my eyes enough at Rory getting mad at the greens. Maybe it's your stroke. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it's how you. Yeah. So he's 3rd in total strokes gained over the last 30 days. That's not number 1. His putting is a concern. He's outside the top 30
who's number 1
putting.
in that 30-day window?
What's that?
Who's number 1 in that 30-day window?
Probably Henley. It might be Harry Hall. To be honest,
I'm going to pull up. You keep going. I'll tell you in a second.
So he's outside the top 30 in terms of putting in the last 30 days. And I need a perfect performance from him, and Leaks Golf just hasn't brought out the best in him. Here is last 4 finishes: 7th, 23rd, 21st, and 8th. So Scottie Scheffler is just not a guy I can bet on. I can't lay him as heavy chalk again in some of these matchups. In fact, I would look at going the opposite direction. So, yes, who's number 1?
Russell Henley.
Of course, it's Russell Henley. It's always
he's only played 2 events, but it's Russell Henley, Rory, Scottie.
Russell Henley, my guy. All right. I'm going to be vilified for this one, but Shane Lowry is a guy that I think can trip people up because everybody's going to be playing Shane Lowry. Everybody. And listen, his 2019 performance was an all-timer, but this feels like a trap. Missed the cut in both majors and ice cold. Statistically, outside the top 50 in total strokes gained over the last 3 months. He's behind Matthias Schmid and Max Grayserman. I know people are going to point to his course history. I get it. But he's only recorded 1 top 5 in Open Championships in the last 8, and he has 5 missed cuts to his name.
Oh, wow.
In Open Championships. So statistically, he's not that good at Open Championships, but everybody's going to focus on an event that was 6 years ago. So I'm not going to be betting on Shane Lowry. I think he's overpriced. And if I'm wrong, fine, but I will be laying off Shane Lowry, and everyone's going to be on him, and that's what the books want. The books want everybody to be on one side, and I think everyone's going to be on Lowry, and I'm here to tell you I think he's going to disappoint. And I'm going to go with Bryson DeChambeau. You missed him. You said you'd love to get my take on him. This is just a really, really bad fit. He loves to overpower courses. He cannot bulldoze his way around here, and his history at Open Championships are terrible. Miscut 60th, 8th, 33rd, miscut 51st, miscut.
Yeah.
He's just never been good, whether he's on the PGA Tour or whether he's on Live. This is just not a good style. Like, it's like you said, the runoff areas, it funnels it into bunkers, it funnels it into the fescue or the rough, and this is just not his type of course. It never has been. Like I said, missed the cut, finished 60th last 2 Open Championships. So, and he also missed the cut here in 2019 for what that's worth. So, local knowledge, finesse matters most. Bryson, easy fade for me this week. I will not be betting on Bryson DeChambeau. Now, if you want to do a complete opposite, like you want to go contrarian, put Bryson in your lineups. But for me, I will not be doing that. So, Nick, tell everyone what you have up at Wager Talk, and then let's get your favorite for this week.
Sure. It is Tuesday, as Andy mentioned. I, too, have a $5 play up and available for the MLS. There's a full Wednesday night MLS card this week, so I have the $5 play up, plus a couple other additional plays for the Wednesday night card. And, of course, the Open Championship pack is up and ready now. It'll include all 4 days, plus any ads throughout the week. Already have a couple plays loaded. We'll be adding more as the week goes on, but MLS and Open Championship is all that's going on for me right now. And then we have the Leagues Cup, which is a tournament, MLS and Liga MX, starting in a 2 weeks' time. So I'll have a pack up for that, probably by next week when we air next week's show, whatever that tournament is after the last major of the year.
All right, favorite. I don't even know who your favorite is this week. I wanted to keep it a surprise. Who you got for us?
It's your one and done. It's Rahm. Scottie. I mean, listen, I got to be honest. At 12-1, I think he's a little overvalued here based on his results this year. But I do think he's playing very well. He's like the only guy I live. I mean, I'm sorry, Bryson's obviously performed very well in the majors, but he's the only guy on Live that's performing well week to week on Live. It's ridiculous and remarkable how consistent he's been since joining in the 2 years. You know the data, Andy, but 23 career Live starts, 1 withdraw, 11th place finish a couple of tournaments ago, and 21 top 10s. He almost won again this past week. So 21 of 23 top 10s. When he plays, he finishes top 10. Nobody else is doing that because he cares. He's trying to actually win these events. And then I think it's helped his major record. He's actually putting in the effort, obviously behind the scenes, but each week as he's playing. Well, how does that transition into his major results? Tied for 14th at the Masters, tied for 8th at the PGA, tied for 7th at the U.S. Open. I mean, you got to have – it's like you can't just go through the motions and be doing scrimmages all the time and all of a sudden be expected to play game speed, right? So I kind of think that is helping Rahm. He's just grinding it out every single week and he's playing very well on Live. He finished tied for 7th at the Open last year. He's been in the top 11 in 4 out of the last 5 Opens. Like, he clearly knows links golf and can play around here. He's just there. He's just got that form right now that I really, really love. I mentioned he nearly won again last week. So he has a runner-up 2023, and he finished tied for 3rd in 2021 at the Open. He obviously hasn't won yet, but he's right there. So there's too many things pointing in Jon Rahm's direction. Again, I don't love his price, but I like his price better than Rory and Scottie at 12-1. Top 10s plus 135. It would be an interesting matchup guy to look at this week, especially if he is paired with a Scottie Scheffler. Who would you take in that scenario? In fact, I'm going to pull up to see who Rahm is with right now while we're talking.
All right. Yeah, I would take Rahm. I know he's going to be plus money because they're not putting Scottie Scheffler as a dog against anybody.
No.
So I would ever so slightly lean to Jon Rahm in that one. So yeah, we'll do DraftKings Darlings. We'll do a long shot, and then we'll do kind of a rapid fire with some of the head-to-head matchups and some of the other bets that they have posted. We're recording this Tuesday morning. So let's take a look at DraftKings Darlings. Great week for DFS. There are a ton. Most of the time I'm really searching for these darlings. I love some of these lower priced guys. So Finished 89th out of 150 last week. I had 2 players miss the cut, so still having one of the best years ever. Not one of the best. It's been my best year in DFS. It would take a colossal collapse for this not to be my best year ever. So, yeah, let's take a look at some of these guys who are really lower priced. I'm going to start with Jordan Smith at 5,900. Steal. Rock solid track record in big events. He's missed just 2 cuts all year. The DP World Tour. He made the cut at the U.S. Open. Followed that up with a 22nd place finish at the Scottish Open last week, so he can handle links golf. Also made the cut in 2 of his last 3 Open championships at 5,900. If Jordan Smith can get us weekend points, absolute steal. So I'll start my lineup with Jordan Smith. Harry Hall at 6,400 blows my mind, Nick. I mean, this guy is one of the most consistent guys on tour right now. 12 straight made cuts, finished inside the top 40 in 8 consecutive starts. Betting markets have been underpriced. DFS has been underpriced. Over the last 3 months, he ranks 21st in this field in total strokes gained. His entire game is on point. Putting is through the roof at this price. Incredible upside. That's what I love about Harry Hall is he gives you upside. Like Jordan Smith, now we're hoping he makes the cut. All right, and get us a few points on the weekend. Harry Hall can give you a top 20 upside. Yes. So, and then we got to go with Matthew Fitzpatrick at 7,800. We talked about him. Perfect blend of form, pedigree. You know, he's had success at majors, back-to-back top 10 finishes, 4th place last week at the Scottish Open, peaking at the right time. 10th in the field in total strokes gained last 30 days, so 7,800, one of the best all-around plays on the board here, Matthew Fitzpatrick. So Jordan Smith, Harry Hall, and Matthew Fitzpatrick, those are my DraftKings darlings. This is the first event of the year that Scottie Scheffler has played, and he's not in my DFS lineup, Nick.
Wow.
I could not make the case for him. So my full lineup is on the digital download on my page, wt.buzz/AL. It's where you can get the $5 play. It's where you can get all plays for the Open Championship. Free article. It gives you a course overview. It gives you all the write-ups on players that can trip you up in DraftKings darlings and the full lineup. So take advantage of that. It's free download. It'll be up by the time that you're watching that. But yeah, first event that Scottie Scheffler has played in, and he is not in my lineup. Too expensive. I don't like his history here at Link Style, and I think there's much, much better value on the board. So, all right, let's take a look at a long shot, and then we'll take a look at some bets. Who's your favorite long shot this week?
You mentioned him, Harry Hall, 120
yes.
to 1. 120 to 1, Andy.
Let's go.
Top 10 plus 800, top 20. I really love plus 330.
Don't you threaten me with a good time, Nick. Top 20 at plus 330 on this guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I mean, we just got to ride. You got to ride the train. Another top 20 last week at the Scottish. 7 now in a row. It included one of the majors. He had the PGA. He didn't play in the U.S. Open, but his driver's like it's whatever. It's neither good nor bad. But driver's not a huge factor here at the Links Course. His irons better than average, but his short game very good. And you know it as much as I do. His putting is absolutely lights out. He's gained strokes in 8 straight starts on the green. He ranks 2nd in this field in that category during the same time frame, only behind Sam Burns. And over the last 12 months, he ranks 4th, also behind Sam Burns, and then a DP World Tour guy and a live guy that is just hard to compare the actual data points. So he is one of the best putters in the field. His short game is phenomenal. You're going to have to be very creative, obviously, around this course and around any links type of course. He's gained strokes putting, Andy, in 31 of his last 33 starts dating back over the last 13 months. So you imagine putting this guy's skill set on the greens with Scottie's skill set on the tee to green. I mean, this guy would win by 17 every time he teed it up. Unfortunately, this is his first Open Championship, so you got no history in this event. So expecting him to win does seem a little far-fetched, but top 10 or top 20 certainly worth a look. And I do love that he played last week. He played well. His form is just too good at this price to pass up. I mean, 120 to 1, Andy. You kidding me? Got to throw some money on this guy. Let's go, Harry.
Bring it home, Harry. Best hat game right now in all of golf. So if you guys could please do us a favor, hit the like button if you're enjoying the content. It really helps the algorithm out. And subscribe to the channel. We're literally like 100 people away from 210,000. I was telling someone the other day, I think I remember celebrating 20,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's probably during COVID.
Yeah, it was. It was. That's when we
We were
got in here,
covering
so.
we were covering like a Bulgarian soccer league or something like that. I can't even remember.
Yes, absolutely. I remember those days well. But yeah, subscribe to the channel, join the Wager Talk family, and you gotta leave a comment. You have to tell us who you like this week. Love reading the comments. Love seeing who you guys are on. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. More importantly, leave a comment. It's a fantastic tournament. Love to see who you guys are on, and yeah, give me the comments about Shane Lowry. Andy, you're crazy. I get it. All right, Nick, let's go through some bets here. I'm going to go to our good friends at Bet Online. They've got matchups up. Go through a couple that kind of jumped off the page here for me. Jon Rahm, you can get plus 135 against Scheffler.
Yeah,
I'm not laying minus 165 against Scheffler. You?
No, not against Rahm. Again, you made a lot of good points as to why maybe Scheffler's not the best guy to win this week, and Rahm has shown it. So I do like that play. I think that's better than what is plus 135. 57% chance to win. I think it's better than that. So I like 50-50 on that one.
Here's another one that jumps off the page. I know he hasn't been back to his elite form, but Xander Schauffele is only minus 115 against Bryson. I get to fade Bryson.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's a good find. That's a good
course,
find.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I was worried about. Yeah.
I was going to say they got Fleetwood over your boy Lowry, plus or minus 150. So clearly, books are on that. But
I
Fleetwood
can't trust Tommy Fleetwood. I just
come on. I thought we loved Fleetwood. I thought we were back on
We
Fleetwood.
love watching him. We love him. I just don't love betting on him. I was worried about Hovland last week with the injury. He came out, finished 11th. So I think we can put that to bed. Yep. Minus 115 against Colin Morikawa, who was downright awful last week, plus 4 and missed the cut. Colin Morikawa is a complete disaster right now. So I would happily take him. They have Russell Henley matched up against Sepp Straka and Matthew Fitzpatrick. Sadly, I'm gonna have to pass. I'd love to bet on Russell Henley in head-to-heads, but I can't take him over either of those guys. Here, Jordan Spieth minus 150 against Koepka.
Interesting. Minus 150. Wow. Now Spieth loves links golf, right? So, and Koepka has no form. So you want to. It's just a big price to lay on Spieth, who's kind of a radical, obviously, but I would go Spieth.
Brian Harman and Cameron Smith, basically a pick'em. The live guy versus Brian Harman. Who you got?
I mean, I'm always going to be jaded to Harman because I won 125-1 bet on him 2 years ago.
Oh, that's right. I remember you did.
So yeah, I love Harman. I think Harman will do well. I don't know what to expect from Cam Smith. I don't hear his name ever on live right now. Is he contending at all? Is he like? No. So I can't imagine him all of a sudden turning it on. Right. So I like him.
All right, let's move to some top 20s here. I'm looking at the DraftKings lines. What's kind of amazing is there's only 5 guys that are minus money. You got Scheffler minus 450, Rory minus 275, Rahm minus 190, Fleetwood and Bryson minus 105, and then everyone's plus money for top 20. Listen, you could talk me into Schauffele at plus money. You might be able to talk me into Hovland at plus money, but that Matthew Fitzpatrick at plus 160 is the one that really jumps off the page for me on top 20s. Any others that you might be interested in?
Yeah, one thing I wanted to share is I've been kind of tracking, Andy, the results this season of the top finishers. Like, what is the odd range one should target if you're looking to bet top 10, top 5, top 20? So in a full field event, right, there's an average of 23 and a half players that finish top 20. Okay, that's obviously accounting for ties. 15 of those, Andy, 15 of the 23, 64%, are at odds at plus 300 or longer. So
wow.
As much as you look and you see these events and you're going, yeah, Scottie will probably finish top 20. But look at all these other guys. You're going to have a lot of this list of guys that are, let's say, even at 200 or less, plus 200 or less, not either miss the cut, not be anywhere near the top 20. It's a lot harder than you think, or a lot less likely than you think, that these top guys, even though they're playing well, are just all of a sudden going to finish top 20 every time they tee it up. It doesn't happen. So 64% of the time, you're getting guys that are at 300 to 1 or longer. So in that pool this week, we mentioned Harry Hall. I like Nikolai Højgaard, very well. You got the guy Marco Penge, who just had a crazy week last week. These guys are all over 300 to 1. Brian Harman, you just mentioned. You got other players like Bezuidenhout, plus 360. Andrew Novak, who had a good run earlier, plus 360. Jordan Smith, you mentioned, plus 360. I mean, there's a lot of decent value in names down this list. And what I like about the Open Championship, remember Thorb, how do we say it?
Thorbjorn Olesen.
Yeah,
Thorbjorn.
He's plus 400 for a top 20. Weren't we just talking about him and high on him a couple of weeks ago? These Open Championships tend to bring out these players that are, European based. Maybe you don't hear about them every single week, and you're like, wait, who's that guy? Right? They know how to play links golf. So there's a lot of meat, let's just say, down in this range. So I would not stick to the top of the list if you're looking at these top 20s. I think there's a lot of decent guys getting down there. Even Jordan Spieth, plus 210, not terrible. Ben Griffin, plus 225, been playing great. I don't really know what his Open pedigree is. The captain, Keegan, plus 240. He's playing as good as anyone. So there's a lot of value on these guys down this list. So I would recommend going further down the list this week than just sticking to the top.
I'm going to go to miss the cuts. Yeah, I'm going to go pick on the live guys. Brooks Koepka's plus 110 to miss the cut. He's been awful this year at the majors. And minus 120 on Mark Leishman. Here are Mark Leishman's last 3 finishes at the Open Championships. Miscut, miscut, miscut. Yeah, you got my attention.
What's his finishes on live? I haven't, again, another name I've not heard of at all.
50th last week at
aren't there only like 48 guys in the field?
There's like 48 guys in the field. Like, how bad do you have to be to finish 50th? So he's had a couple of sprinkles where he's close, but no. Leishman to miss the cut at minus 120? Wow. Yeah, you definitely have my attention. Absolutely have my attention. So, all right, that's going to do it for us for Tee Time at the Open Championship. Again, if you're watching this on Tuesday, take advantage of $5 Tuesday play. Nick's got an MLS play up. I've got an Open Championship best bet that's up. And then Wednesday, we'll have our full packs out where you get all plays for the rest of the week, including individual round plays, any head-to-head matchups, outrights. Those will be available at wagertalk.com. Again, hit the like button, token of appreciation if you're enjoying the comment. And again, leave us a comment. Tell us who you like this week, or if you just want to say hello. It really helps us out. And subscribe to the channel. Help us get to that 210,000 subscribers to get notified when all of our videos come out. So good luck on all your plays. Let's have a great Open Championship. We'll see you next week. Take care.